motion. Let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. You thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I think it's absurd. But until then, you'll leave your words. Well, lay on. Lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your words, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, oh you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be loved. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy. Don't tell me who I have become. Don't tell me who I have become. I remember what you'd say. We're all looking to be loved. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Until then, we'll all be yours. We'll all be yours. We'll all be yours.
Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here, Black Flag Racing TV, and it's something new for your viewing pleasure this Sunday evening. This is the opening round of the WSR Porsche Super Cup, and this is the Academy division where they use the Porsche Caymans, sponsored by Team E Hard, I think it is, something like that, E-Team Hard, whatever it is. Anyway, 4 splits essentially in the Porsche Cup. This is the Academy division, in which everybody's in the same car. They're all in the Porsche Cayman, and we are at Spa today. This is week 1 of a 10-week series that is going to blow your tiny little minds. It's going to be awesome, absolutely awesome. I've seen quite a few of these guys practicing over the last few days, so really looking forward to this. Some of the graphics are new to me. I will probably, as you well know, cock it up at some stage. But bear with me, we'll get there. We'll get there as the season goes on. So let's have a little looky-see what is going on in the world of the WSR Cup. So this is where we are today. We're at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. The weather is random, and as we well know, it is a kind of track where you occasionally see a little drippy droppy of rain. So it could get moist. So hopefully everybody's got their wet weather tyres on hand, just in case. 2 races. There is a 7-lap sprint race, which is followed by a 13-lap feature race. The sprint race will determine the top 10 grid for the feature race, of course, and lots of points to be handed out among the academy drivers. And there are 3 other divisions which you can catch. You've got the pro and elite groups, and then splits 2 and 3, all being broadcast by different people. If you check out the WSR socials, you can find where those are. But watch this one first, and then go and watch them ones later. So Belgium is where we are for this first race. 7 kilometres, 4.3 miles, 20 turns, a real world circuit, and it's a tarmac surface. And I defy anybody not to enjoy a little bit of a blast around Spa. It's an awesome, awesome racetrack. There's your 20 turns. La Source, always a source of amusement, particularly on that one. Be careful, folks, because that can ruin your entire race right there on the first turn. Bus stop chicane as well, turns 19 and 20. Always a spin or two to be had there if you're a little bit too brave on the power. In terms of good overtaking spots, top of the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe, turn 7. Good overtaking spot there, potentially as well with slipstream up the Kemmel Straight, of course, and around Blanchimont, 17, 18. That's where you'd like to see the best overtake. La Source as well can be, if someone goes a little bit wide, can be a good place to chuck one up the inside if you are quick and smart. That is who makes up this academy group, and that was their qualifying times right there. I will, over the course of the next few races, try and memorise whose numbers are what. I do have the numbers to put up and stuff. We'll see anyway. But we'll go through who's in the room in a second and make sure everyone is ready to go. But here is a quick blast. This is what it looks like driving around this racetrack. So you see here, you come out of the source, you head up past the pit straight into Radion and Eau Rouge. You can see here, you can take this flat out in these GT4 cars. GT3 as well, Porsche 911 goes quite easily flat out through there. And then you head up Kemmel Straight. Your ideal here is to get a nice, decent slipstream behind the car in front of you, or avoid giving slipstream to the car behind if you can, as you head up the road into Lacombe. Good exit out of turn 7 will set you up nicely for 8 and 9, which takes you down to Bruxelles, which is a really complicated right turn. We are about to start qualifying, so we'll get through this pretty quickly. Everyone's going to do that first anyway. So here we go, round Bruxelles, which takes you up to turn 11. Turn 11, you a little bit of a break, get on that power again before you head down into Pouillon, which is a flat out 3rd or 4th gear blast, essentially. Here we go, you can see it going down now into Pouillon. Pouillon takes you down to 13 and 14 into Campus. You've got right-hander, left-hander. It's a 10-minute qualifying session. We'll join them in. Everyone's doing an outlap, so you're not going to miss anything with an outlap anyway. There we go, turns 13 and 14. Down to turn 15 into Stavelot. And it's a kind of double right-hander. Stavelot, wobbly there. And then you flat out into Porphyre, onto Blanchimont, and this is flat all the way down past your little penalty line, which takes you down through 17, 18, into right down to the bus stop chicane, which can make or break your lap. And here you can see it heading down now, flat out. All of this is flat. Just be careful not to go a little bit too wide there. If you need to, lift. Don't brave it if you're not sure you're going to make it, because penalties here are brutal, because the penalty goes halfway down Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane, and then you either go left and head on for another lap, or you go right and dive into the pits. So there we have it. Right, that's how the lobby looks. Let's get straight involved with some viewing pleasure. As I said, this is season 5 of the WSR Porsche Super Cup. We'll have a little rundown of the runners and riders, shall we? Let's get all their details up on the screen so we can see who they are. Now, I'm going to try and remember everybody's numbers, but I probably won't get them right. We'll give it a little crack, shall we? Let's give it a little crack. I've got to bring up I've got a list to help me along. So that is Rick James 101. There he is. They're all in the Porsche Cayman, so nothing to really compare the cars to. All the same livery as well. Just to make it nice and easy for me to spot a car from a distance, we're using exactly the same livery, which is awesome. There's Rick James on 101. He's our glorious host this evening from the United States. Then we have got from our very own Black Flag Racing team, J49. He is obviously repping for us in Black Flag. And here he goes, he's second out for qualifying. So they start their hot laps. Next on track is Lucky 7. Just trying to find his number. There he is. There he is, Lucky 7. I think I've got him. There he is, yeah, Lucky 7. Found him. There he is from the United States. Mini Dan. Where's his number? Mini Dan, number 28. There's Mini Dan. Repping in 4th place at the moment. Arco 96 is his number. There he is. There is Arco. Tristan Metcalf. Tristan Metcalf is running 6th on the track at the moment. He's number 19. He stole my number. That's my car number. I'm not racing though, so you can have whatever number he likes. Chip Reese from the United States. Do a lot of broadcasting with Chip Reese. Know him very, very well. He's number 4. Wish Mike well in this race. See how he gets on. Lucky Alpha, number 18. There he is. He's out there today. Now, I'm going to try and pronounce this, and if I get it wrong, please don't shoot me. Stumpstrauber. Stumpstrauber. That's what I'm going with, and I'm hoping I'll get that right. He's number 7. There he is, right there, Stumpstrauber. I'm going to probably call him Stump, because I'm not very good with, unless someone talks me through it, like a kind of idiot in an idiot way. Then we've got, who else is out there? E-Tunes is out there. Where is E-Tunes? I know he's on my list somewhere. Number 45 is E-Tunes. There he is. Currently not on the correct part of the racetrack. Can't park that there, mate. And finally, last, but by no means least, of course, it is Sturdad. I can't find him. I can't find him. Oh, he's number 48. There he is. Sturdad, number 48. So we've got 12 of the planned runners this evening, and we'll see how we will get on with all of that. Right, so in terms of lap times, no one's given us anything yet, so we're just waiting for the first runners to go across the line, and Rick James will briefly be on pole. Don't know how long that will be for. There he is. There, Rick James has given us a nice solid 2:33.2 to start out, and straight away Mini Dan steals that way 2:31.0. That's a really, really good time in these Caymans. Lucky 7, 32.9. Arco steals that front row, just ahead of Mini Dan with a 2:30.4. Times are tumbling. So currently this is how we stand. Arco is on pole with a 230.4. Mini Dan joins him on that front row with a 231.0. Stomp 231.6 is on row 2. He has got Lucky 7 alongside with a 32.9. He's carrying a penalty. That's not going to be a super quick lap for him this time out. Rick James 233.2. He heads up row 3. He's got the enigmatic Chip Reese alongside him, 234.5. Row 4 headed up by Ridge Raider of the United States, 237.0 for him. Tristan Metcalf with a 240.6. There's still some time to be found there by a number of these drivers. Number of them. E-Tunes, 250.6. He's on row 5 with Tristan Metcalf. J49 didn't have a great lap. That's a 301.8. He's certainly got more time than I know he has for a fact, because he beat me resoundingly earlier on this track in these cars with much better times than that. And Lucky Alpha 302.2. He's got some time to find as well. Nice splattering of there's a lot of American drivers in there, and hello to all our American friends. It's what, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for you guys. Well, Eastern time it is anyway. Here in the UK it is just gone 8 p.m. in the evening, and I think you German guys are what, 9 p.m. something along those lines. So looking forward to this race today. Got a number of interesting parts of this racetrack, and it gives you, there is many overtaking opportunities. You've got La Source is always a good one. If the car in front of you goes wide, you can dive up inside or in La Source turn 1. You've got the Kemmel Straight, obviously that's a really good opportunity with Slipstream to make a little move, as is Blanchimont as well. Then you've got potentially the top of the Kemmel Straight. Really good opportunity when you get to the top of the Kemmel Straight to make that overtake into Lecombe. Also, I have seen it done. I have seen moves into the bus stop chicane, but I think it would require some level of the person in front of you not getting it quite right. So we've got 2 races here. We've got a sprint race followed by a feature race of 14 laps. We've got a couple of minutes left to qualify. We'll go through essentially what the settings are going to be. This is Porsche Cayman GT4 for the Academy class. They need to have racing softs, racing mediums, also intermediates and heavyweights, just in case. 10-minute qualifying. It's about 15 minutes or so for the sprint race and 30 minutes for the feature race. And settings are quite simple. In the sprint race, there is no tyre wear. Fuel consumption is negligible. And it's a standing start, including full start check, of course. For the feature race, a little bit more tyre wear, times 5 on the tyre wear, so you're going to have to look after them a little bit. It's certainly going to need to change them out. Very difficult to do full 13 lap. We certainly can't do them on the softs. I can tell you that for nothing. If you do, I mean, you could choose, I suppose, to use the mediums all the way. In terms of assists, CSM, ASM, and TCS all prohibited. Racing line is allowed though. So Stump puts himself on pole position, and that is a very solid 230.2. Arco stays on that front row with him with a 230.4. Hasn't been able to improve on that. One last blast at improvement. Mini Dan. He's called Mini Dan because his name is Dan and he's very small. That may or may not be true, of course. 230.6. He heads up row 2. He's got Rick James for company. 231.9. Ridge Radar, 232.3 for him. He heads up row 3. He's got Chip Reese for company. Just half a second slower with 32.7. Lucky 7. Currently in 7th. Could that be an ominous sign? He heads up row 4. He's got 232.9, and he's got our very own old man J49, 233.8, just behind him on row 4. Row 5 is Sturdad with Tristan Metcalf. Sturdad with a 35.2. Tristan Metcalf with a 40.6. E-Tunes currently heads up row 6 with Lucky Alpha joining him. There's a 43.9 for him and a 41.3. Doesn't make sense. Why is he behind him? I'm assuming that's because it didn't count. That could be the only reason why he's at the back there. And currently Lucky Alpha being held up a little bit by E-Tunes. Can't get past him. And this is the last blast as well because it's the final qualifying lap. Although it looks like a few have managed to get another lap in, maybe, or maybe not. So Arco on pole, goes sub 230 with 229.1. That's a great lap from Arco. Mini Dan puts himself onto that front row. 20 also goes sub 30 with 29.888. Good evening, and Nathan Hall Racing. How the bloody hell are you? Thank you for joining us this evening. Stump Straff. I'm not even going to try. Listen, buddy. Stump. I want you to drop me a message and tell me how to pronounce your name. So next week I'll get it right. For now, you're going to be Stump. He is on the road too. He's got Chip Reese coming. That's a good qualifying time from Chip Reese. And yeah, and to be fair, Chip Reese, I encounter him a lot, an awful lot, during broadcasting. I tend to broadcast a lot of stuff that he is in. All good fun. That doesn't actually fit there. I didn't have time to make the other one for going after qualifying. So all done and dusted for the 12 runners this evening. I'm really looking forward to this. I know that the guys have been practicing pretty darn hard for this. Pretty much every day when I log on, I see a lobby up for people practicing for this. We've Black Flag themselves have got number of drivers across all 4 divisions actually. We've got Slipstream in the elite group. We've got joining him in the pro class is VR46 Stormfly. Then in Split B we have Fubar Fernandez, he's not sporting the Black Flag livery today, sporting the Eurovision livery because he loves Eurovision for some strange reason, whatever that is. But good luck to those guys. And then in Split 3 we've got Avalon and Bandit. So yes, I'm operating in all 4 divisions. Stresses. What's stressing you out, Nathan? What is stressing you out, my friend? Tell me all about it. We'll see if we can solve it for you while we're waiting for the race to begin. It is going to get quite loud quite quickly for a very short time very soon. I've got my family have ordered ice cream to be delivered. Porsche ice cream, obviously, not just your bog standard out of the supermarket stuff. Don't know why. My son got some of his sponsorship money today. He's a sponsored Rocket League player, so he got some of his sponsorship money. Right, so the room will be reset, ready for the first race. Now I'm not quite sure what's occurring. I'm going to put that back up now because it now fits. It's the first time I've done it, so of course you were. Yeah, what happened? You having problems with your system, mate, or internet? Well, not obviously the internet's working. You're watching. I'm assuming you've got some sort of problem with your PlayStation or the connection. It's a shame, actually, that we haven't got a full lobby for the first race. There is a race every 2 weeks, essentially. And while we're waiting for sort of racing to begin, yeah, no, I saw that. You were supposed to be hosting, but was it because you had a problem with your PlayStation? Or you didn't get in time? Because I did notice it does say Porsche Cup testing rather than Porsche Cup Academy room, which I suppose can be a little bit confusing. Because I saw the lobby was open for a little while. I thought it was just a training lobby for a bit, and then I realised that everyone that's supposed to be racing was in it, so I jumped in. Let's have a quick rundown of where all the races are this season while we're waiting to begin. Rooms being re-prepared. So, of course, we're here today at Spa. 2 weeks' time, we move to Barcelona, Catalunya, one of my favourite racetracks in the world. And that's the one without chicane, which is the correct one. Then we're off to Croatia for Dragon Trail Seaside on the 16th of April. 2 weeks later, to the United States and the Watkins Glen. Great racetrack, that. Snooze Fest, round 5 at the Red Bull Ring, unless it rains, of course. That's when it gets good. Monza for round 6. which is home to the single greatest right-hand turn in motorsport, which is Parabolica, and I defy you to come up with a better one. Road Atlanta is in the United States for round 7. Then we've got the NASCAR special at the Northern Ice Speedway, where essentially we'll watch these Caymans just follow each other for about an hour. Interlagos in Brazil for round 9, another of my favourites. And then we finish with the season finale at 2 hours at Daytona for double points in the middle of August, when everybody's on holiday. I'm looking forward to that. Should be pretty awesome. Yeah, PS4's. I think the problem we've got, Nathan, is that this game was originally developed for a PS5, and because of the chipset issues and all that kind of thing, Sony decided, for money's sake, they would dumb it down for PS4. I don't mean that in a bad way, but essentially take out some of the functionality to make it viable on a PS4. The problem is it really does stretch a PS4 to its absolute limit. I had the same problem. I was on PS4 when I first started, when I returned to sim racing with GT Sport, and then this, and it really struggled to handle the game. So I had to bite the bullet and upgrade. Well, also because whenever I fired up my PS4 and went online, it sounded like an Airbus taking off. The fans were going absolutely nuts. I had to run 2 desk fans behind it with a bottle of frozen water blowing cold air into it. It was ridiculous, just to get it to stay running. Yeah, it's a shame. So waiting for the race to begin. Anyone new in the room? I don't think there is. I think we still got the 12. We've got one new. Who's the new one? Who's the new one that has arrived that we haven't yet talked about? Pete Snow. Pete Snow has arrived to join us. I don't think he qualified, did he? Ridge Raider we've seen, Sturdad we've seen, Mini Dan we've seen, Stump of course, Chip Reese, our very own Jay, Tristan Metcalf, Lucky 7, Lucky Alpha. I wonder if they're brothers. Probably not. E-Tunes, Arco, and me, but I'm not racing. It's not often I'm in a lobby with people that are D-rated, unless I'm racing usually. But there we go. So just waiting for everything to begin. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm assuming that we're ready to go pretty soon. No, practice underway. I'm not going to watch people practice. That's boring. So, key from the line. The key thing from the line is to make sure that when you go into La Source, you just take it easy. There seems to be a temptation from drivers in turn 1 to try and gain 2 or 3 places and really kind of make a crazy dive in order to improve their lot. And often what that leads to is more problems. You can cause a red flag, for instance, if you catch 2 or 3 people and take them out. But you also can compromise your own race. Heavy damage is on here, so you do not want to be smashing your car early doors and losing performance. My advice into turn 1 is, look, take your line through now. You've got a little run down from the start-finish line. Hold your position. If you need to take it a bit wider, take it a bit wider. Stay out of harm's way. Because chances are, if you do that, you go a little bit wider into the source. And don't try and clip that apex perfectly. Because there's going to be essentially 13 cars, all trying to clip that same apex pretty much at the same time. What you don't want to do is be in the middle of those 13 and getting punted off out, way off, into yonder, and having your car damaged and being knocked all the way down the order. So, I don't know quite why we have a delay, but we will see. Yeah, well, I don't know what to say really. One thing I was going to mention is I did find it odd the Academy went switched cars from the 911 to the Cayman, because all of the practice and everything else and all the qualifying and everything was done in the 911, and then you take the slowest guys and say, I know you've been practicing in this 911 and you're slower, but here's a different car. Get practicing with that. So yeah, a bit of an odd choice for me, but I don't make the rules. I just rock up. You'll see that I have tyres and fuel hidden. I do have a facility to show you, which I will do when the race begins, of course. Just waiting to find out when this race is going to begin. This is the commentators, aren't they? You see, when there's nothing going on, it's finding stuff to talk about while keeping it clean and not getting too stressed out. You might at some point over the course of this next hour or whatever it is, hear me coughing up my guts. I picked up a bug last week, which is just now and again it just catches me at night. You'll find me coughing the last remnants of that bug out all over the microphone. I will try not to infect you with it too much. Also, you'll hear the vape burning. So we are. I don't know what we're waiting for, to be fair. I think everyone's ticked in, are they not? Everyone is ticked in and ready to go. What are we waiting for? I'll have a quick look in the room. Everyone's sitting in the pits ready to go. I'm hoping it's not some sort of bug. That would be a bit rubbish, wouldn't it? I don't think it is. Should we talk about what's coming up on Black Flag TV while we're waiting? That's what we'll do. While we're waiting, we'll talk about what is coming up on Black Flag Racing TV. So, of course, we're here for the Porsche Super Cup this evening. Tomorrow, we're back with Black Flag Racing Team for our Gauntlet series. And anyone that hasn't yet seen Gauntlet, you've got to check it out. It's an absolute awesome series. People turn up and just they literally don't have a clue what they're going to be racing, what car they're going to be in, or anything along those lines. They literally rock up. Everything is randomised right there and then, live here on Black Flag TV, and then they go for a 20-minute race, doing that setting and doing that in that particular car, and it makes for some really, really good racing. Tuesday we're back with Formula 1 action with Smoking Pretty for the new season, starting with them. That's from 7 PM on Tuesday, and then that is followed immediately by late night racing from 8:45. Lots of F1 action on Tuesday, of course. Wednesday we're back with the last couple of rounds of the GR3 Open, which starts at 7:45 on Wednesday evening. That's back here on GT7 in the GR3 cars. And it's I think this week we've only got 3 rounds left. The championship can be secured by the current leader, Kevin 77. PM10, who led for a while, went on holiday to America and just hasn't found the pace since he got back. Not been able to kind of get back up to speed and starting to drop off that championship challenge. Then Thursday back with more F1 action, back with the Tier 1 for Smoking Pirellis on Thursday, and that's from 7 PM. Friday, more F1 with Eurotrips, and then Saturday it is time for the GTFusion World Team Championships, returning for its 15th. That's right, 15th season in a row. 15 years GTFusion has been running. This is year number 15. Black Flag have got a number of drivers in that competition, and we are one of the lead broadcasters. We're broadcasting both the amateur groups on Saturday and the pro group, one of the pro groups on Sunday. And the pro groups have got some fantastic drivers in. And I'm sure there's a few guys involved in this or will be involved in GTFusion next week. That's essentially what's happening over the next 7 days. We're not back here next Sunday, of course, because it's every 2 weeks. I'm a little bit confused as to why we are not doing any racing, why we're kind of just sitting here waiting, and what exactly we are waiting for. Unless, of course, there's something wrong with the lobby and they are racing and I can't see a thing. I don't know. What is holding us up is the big question. Are they potentially waiting for someone else to come in? Who knows? Who knows what's going on? Let's, rather than sit here and listen to me talk, whack the track guide up again and you can watch a car blasting around here while we wait to find out what's occurring. That's because there's nothing much to talk about. There was no point in me putting the microphone on because there's no actual racing going on. But good evening, TJ. Welcome. I was flicking through just because there's no racing. We've had the qualifying that happened. Finished about 20 minutes, almost 20 minutes ago now, and then we went back into the lobby, and then since then nothing much has happened. Yeah, I'm in danger of going off onto a tangent talking about something completely different for no apparent reason. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what is occurring? Going back to the lobby anyway. So we did qualifying. The lobby was reset after qualifying. There we go. Finally, the race is about to begin. We are finally able to get underway. Don't quite know why the delay was quite so long. I'm assuming there was some sort of technical issue, maybe. Who knows? But we are going to start this race right now. Arco on pole, we've got Mini Dan just behind him. Turn 1, it's key into turn 1 that you do not get squirrely. No, I didn't, TJ, I knew exactly what I was doing, mate. There is 3 lights, there is 4, there is 5, and we are ready to go. They're away. Arco gets away well. Mini Dan just behind him. That's a really, really good move from, I think it was Rick James making a move up into second. Does he make it up into first, into the source? Does everyone get through cleanly? That's the main thing. It looks to be a little bit squirrely. A couple of cars getting on the power there, looking squirrely. But Rick James gets his way up into the lead of this race as they head into Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. And it looked like Arco was going to go side by side with him, but not the wisest of decisions at this stage of the race, of course. And so we're looking at the moment, we are watching number 101, Rick James. There he is, and he is our glorious host this evening. He made a great move. He was on road 2, and a great start from him, got him up into the lead. A couple of cars nearly having it coming together there at the at the top of the hill. So Mini Dan running in second. Arco is running in third position. There is Pete Snow. Pete Snow up to fourth already. Lucky 7 is running in fifth. He's got Chip Reese with a half-second penalty just behind him. That is going to cost him some time when they get into Blanchimont for the first time. Behind him in 7th place is Ridge Raider. Looking for old man Joe. Where has Jay gone? There is Stump. He's in 8th place, the German driver. 1.3 seconds. I'll just say 1.3, but it changed immediately. Lucky Alpha back in 9th, getting a little bit wide, but not wide enough to gain a penalty. In 9th place, Sturdad right up behind him. And there is Jay in 11th place. Didn't have the greatest of starts, giving himself a bit of work to do early on. Tristan Metcalf running in 12th. And there is E-Tunes at the back of the pack. And because you haven't got to see it yet, I'm going to show you this. We won't leave it on the whole time, but we will have the ability to look at tyres and fuel just like that. So we'll have a look at who's running what. Rick James has started this race on the soft compound tyre, which is will explain why he had such a great launch. He is 7/10 clear at the moment of Mini Dan. There is Mini Dan running in 2nd position. He's on the medium tyres. Now, if he can hang on in there, on those medium tyres, in that position, he's going to put himself in a very, very good place later on in the race when he switches to the softs. Of course, we don't know that it's not going to rain. And Mini Dan making a move ahead of Rick James, as does Arco. Rick James really losing out there through that bus stop chicane. Mini Dan into the lead. Arco up into 2nd place as they head into the source. Arco trying to find a way up the inside of Rick James, up the inside of Mini Dan, but it just wasn't there for him. There is Pete Snow. He's running in 3rd place, now ahead of Rick James. Great start, but now dropping down that order as the top 4 just start to pull away from the rest of the pack. Lucky 7, he is on the soft compound tyre, just ahead, well 2.2 seconds behind that front 4 who have just started to open up their own gap. Just ahead at the moment of Ridge Raider, who's about to pull out and make the move up the inside as they break into the top of the Kemmel Straight there. Very, 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 very late on the brakes. That sends him quite significantly wide on those medium compound tyres, and Chip Reese able to dive up on through into 6th. Lucky Alpha in 8th place. Didn't benefit from Ridge Raider going so wide, but is a little bit closer to that 7th place now. Jay's made up a couple of places, already up into 9th. Sturdad behind him, the American driver, carrying a half-second penalty. That's going to give Jay a little bit of breathing room behind, because behind him, Tristan Metcalf 4.4 seconds back. So you've got the front four have built their own little gap. Then you've got the kind of midfield of pulled away from these guys at the back, as E-Tune's making that move on Tristan Metcalf into Pouillon, and that's a great little move for him there, up into 11th place, but both carrying a penalty, which is just going to give Stump the impetus he needs to get past both of them as they serve that half-second penalty. And Tristan going back ahead of E-Tunes. Good little battle for 11th and 12th at the back there between these two, the Canadian and the American driver, as Tristan goes incredibly wide. Penalty about to be served, and we will see they need to get off that racing line, because Stump needs to have that clear line through, and got a little bit impeded by Tristan Metcalf there, and E-Tunes with a bigger penalty. He did get an extra half a second when he went wide a little bit further down the racetrack. So Stump doesn't get to benefit because he just got held up a little bit by Tristan. Makes the move on E-Tunes though, but very, very wide he goes, and that is way, way off the racetrack. Unfortunately, my friend.
You can't park that there, mate.
Yeah, you can't park that there. Mini Dan in the lead now. Now he's up in front. He's starting to put himself a nice little chunky lead. 1.6 seconds he leads over Arco, who is now massively pulling away. So I don't know what happened to those out the front, but we've lost some cars. We have lost some of these front runners. Rick James down to 10th place. He had a massive I haven't got how dare you on here, TJ. I haven't set it up on this one. Rick James is down to 11th place. He had a massive problem on that last lap, and that's cost him loads and loads of time. So that gives Mini Dan a 2-second lead at the front of the pack, 2.1 seconds now. And him and Arco just absolutely breezing away from the rest of the pack. Arco pulling out a 9.9 second lead over the American driver Chip Reese, running in 3rd. And that's allowed Jay to move up into 4th. So once we got settled into this race, a few people have made a couple of mistakes, and it completely changes the complexion of this race. Remember, Chip Reese and Jay were way down the order on lap 1. Chip Reese even with a half-second penalty, and just with consistency has allowed them to stay on the racetrack, which is always important. If you can, consistency is always going to be key. Pace is one thing, but consistency is absolutely the thing you really, really want to have. If you can chuck in lap after lap on a consistent basis, you're always going to put yourself in a really, really strong position later on in the race. It's one of those things that really matters. And at the moment, Mini Dan, Arco, Chip Reese putting in really good, consistent laps. That's allowing them just to start to pull away from the rest of the pack. But those front two at the moment, the front two of Mini Dan and Arco, absolutely dominant at this stage. 10 seconds to Chip Reese in 3rd. Jay just outside that top 3 right now. He's running in 4th place. Bear in mind though, he's on the medium compound tyre. The front, well, I was going to say the front 3 are all on softs, but they're not. Mini Dan's on mediums, Arco's on mediums. Chip Reese is running the soft compounds. So in order to make this work, he really needs to try and close that gap to Arco, and if possible, take that 2nd place, just to bump him up that order a little bit. So Jay comfortably at the moment running in 4th. The gap back to Lucky 7 is gone, because Pete Snow making a move up into 5th. Lucky 7 losing a couple of places. Lucky Alpha gets ahead of him. Lucky 7 now down to 7th. They head into La Source for the 4th time. And everyone through safely this time. And again on that power a little bit too quickly, a little bit too hard, coming out of La Source. It sends the back end of that Porsche just a little bit floppy. they've got no traction control here. So you have to be so careful getting on the power. The two places where you're in real danger of losing the car are the final turns at 19 and 20 into the bus stop chicane and turn 1 into the source. And you saw there just getting on that power a little bit too early or a little bit too hard, and it just sends the back end of that Porsche wants to step out. You really have to have the car under control before you put full beans on that accelerator. So Sturdad, he's got Ridge Raider crawling all over the back of him. And this is the view from Ridge Raider's bumper. You can see him there just trying to find a way to get around Sturdad. He closed right up on him on the Kemmel straight. But riding in the dirty air through this section, you want to kind of back off a little bit. You do not want to be stuck behind these cars with the dirty air. And remember, performance, BOP is on, but these cars are identical. So it is purely down to driver ability. Sturdad looking around the outside of Lucky 7 into Pouillon. I thought Lucky 7 was going to come back on the track and sideswipe Sturdad then. But Sturdad through. That's a great overtake and a great shot of the overtake from the front of Ridge Raider's car. Ridge Raider coming up behind Lucky 7. He's on the brakes. Can he find a way through? Lucky 7 looks to be slowing down a little bit. He's tanking through that order. Out in front, still Mini Dan and Arco with Chip Reese in third. We're currently on board with Ridge Raider, who's looking for a way around Lucky 7. Is he close enough? He didn't really get a great exit out of there into Blanchimont to give him a real good chance of an overtake here. So he's going to have to stay tucked in there for another lap or two. Rick James, who was an early leader, great start from him. Lap 1 took the lead of this race. At the end of lap 1, found himself dropping down to 4th, and now finds himself running in 10th position, 5.7 seconds back from Ridge Raider, and 2 seconds clear of the German driver Stump. I don't even know what I'm trying. I can't do it. It's Stump. 3.4 seconds back to E-Tunes. And there's a yellow flag. Who has crashed? Somebody has. I think we're all right. The green flag is back out. Didn't give me time to press my yellow flag button. I've got loads of graphics, and it's so much work trying to dig them all out every time something happens. I'll get better at it, I'll promise. So Mini Dan currently leading away 1.4 seconds over Arco. Arco's sticking with him, but the pair of them just starting to pull away. Arco with the fastest lap for 2:31.3, which is akin to some of the qualifying laps. Yeah, there is loads of track limit penalties. The thing is here, TJ, I mean, we were running these Caymans around here earlier, and it's not a great car, the Cayman, to be fair. Not in the game, anyway. Jay is in 4th still. Oh, he's not. He's not in 4th. He's had a problem. He's down in 9th. He was in 4th. He's now dropped down to 9th. He had a quite bad lap, that lap, 2:44. Again, consistency. Consistency is the thing that is costing people spots. Minidan, Arco, Chip Reese, all very consistent. You can see there, Pete Snow, consistent. I mean, that's his fastest lap as well, there, 2:32.6 on that last lap. Sturdad as well, starting to ramp up the pace, a bit more consistent. Ridge Raider, again, Lucky Alpha. That's, 4 seconds he's going there. That'll be with a bit of slipstream getting there. Lucky 7, of course, another penalty. But yeah, Jay now down in 9th place, so he is, the consistency just not quite there for him on that last lap. Just needs to, the thing is, he's got the pace. If he can stick around those 2:35s, they're very, very wide there, that's going to be a penalty. If he can just stick with those in that pace of 2:35s, he's going to give himself a good, decent track position. And he's under a little bit of pressure there from Rick James. As we see Lucky 7 spinning, and you can't park that there, son. He is struggling to get back on the track. He was back on in 11th place. E-Tunes 19 seconds back. Justin Metcalf 22 seconds with a 1 second penalty at the back of the pack. Sergio Ross stealing my number 19. Right, so Mini Dan. Let's go on board actually with Mini Dan and watch how he attacks this lap as he goes into the source. So I've got to keep bringing up the sheet with the numbers on because I can't remember what their numbers are offhand. There he is, number 28, Mini Dan. So you see him on board here with Mini Dan as he heads up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. And you can see there, you can just power through it, even on the medium tyres. You don't have to let off. You can keep on the power through there and head up the hill without too much trouble. And you can see the car behind is just outside that 1 second window where you're giving up good slipstream to the car behind. So he can relax a little bit. He doesn't have to worry about giving up anything to that car behind him. Into Lecombe, 7, 8 and 9. Again, powering through that turn 8 into turn 9. Little lift there. You've got to use all that road. You can use his curbs. You can't abuse the curbs quite as much as you can in the 911. You find the curbs can unsettle this Cayman a little bit. But all in all, it's you want to use as much of this racetrack as you can. Then we head down into turn 11 out of Bruxelles and down into Pouillon, which is this sweeping left-hander. Really, really cool. If you get this right, you get Pouillon right, and you really can shave tenths of seconds off your time quite quickly. Heading down to turns 13 and 14 for Campus. And then Stavelot, or Stavelot, depending on which accent you say it in. If you're from South London, it's Stavelot. If you're from France, it's Stavelot. If you're from Belgium, it's whatever they say, Stavelot. Into turn 15. Turn 16 is flat out into Paul Freire, of course. And that takes you down to Blanchimont. There is your penalty line. Look, I mean, if you look at where it is, it's absolutely brutal there. A 1 second penalty there is costing you 2.5, 3 seconds because it's slowing you right down. And Blanchimont sweeps round. This is turn 17, not really a turn. I think if you're going flat out, it's not really a turn. Turn 18, I've counted this as one because in some cars you do have to brake for that, or at least slow down. And then down to the bus stop chicane. And you want to get turned nice and early, clip the apex, careful with the power coming out. You don't want to lose the back end. And he does there, just gets a little bit squirrely, but finds his way through. But he lost a bit of time there, and that's allowed Arco to take the lead of this race. There is Arco now running in first position. Let's zoom back out to this great shot. So Minigan and Arco taking control of this race, 14 seconds clear. There is Chip Reese on his own in third position. He's got a nice little gap behind, 5.3 seconds. Nice and comfortable, but he's on those soft compound tyres. So he will need to change them out at some stage. Pit window will be opening, I think, for these soft tyre runners, certainly. Now, the thing is, can the medium tyre runners go I think they probably can take those tyres to the end. So if they can make them last the whole 14 laps, they don't have to pit. Now, I'm not entirely sure if there is a mandatory pit stop. It's not entirely clear in the way. It says that you're required to have those tyres. It doesn't say that you are required to use all of those tyres. I could be wrong. It could be a mandatory pit stop, but it's not entirely clear that that's the case. We'll soon find out if the medium tyre runners who could go to the end choose to go in. Pete Snow settled nicely into fourth place, 5.9 behind Chip Reese, but he's 8.8 ahead of Ridge Raid. He's really on his own on the racetrack at the moment. No one really in front or behind. He's not closing enough on Chip to challenge that top three. Certainly not at this moment in time. He may well do later if he changes to the soft compound tyres, or when Chip Reese changes his soft compound tyres. But Ridge Raider behind him is dropping into the clutches, actually, of Sturdad. Sturdad running in sixth place at this moment in time. 2.6 seconds is the current, or 2.8 seconds, there's the gap. What's out actually, 2.9 seconds. Lucky Alpha behind him. That's another. There's so many penalties getting handed out here. Like sweeties at a school fair. They're handing out these penalties at the moment. Another half-second penalty there for Lucky Alpha. There should be like some sort of scoreboard for who can amass the most penalties and still not come last at the end of the season. That'd be an awesome little thing to do. Clearly that would involve someone watching every driver for every race though, or trusting the drivers to count them up themselves, which is unlikely. But Lucky Alpha running in sixth place. He is 1.3 seconds clear of Jay, who settled into that kind of midfield in seventh. Right, so that answers my question as to are both tyres required? The answer is yes, because the one else would Mini Dan pit. So he goes into the pits on those medium tyres halfway through the race, lap 7. You can easily do 7 laps on those soft compound tyres without question. So I imagine we'll see a number of those medium tyre runners now getting rid of those. I mean, I did this earlier in the Cayman in these settings, and I did 10 laps on the softs quite easily. Although I didn't do it as quickly as these guys doing it, because I'm just not Lucky Alpha diving into the pits as well. Jay opting to stay out. Right, so let's have a quick look at who's running what, shall we? Tyres and fuel look like that. Arco stays out. 14.5 seconds is his lead now on those medium compound tyres. Fuel not really an issue here. Chip Reese is running in second. He's on the soft compound. As you can see there, clearly another few laps for him. He needs to start thinking about changing out. I think around lap 9, lap 10 is where you'll start to consider maybe putting on the mediums. The thing is as well, is it could rain. We know that it's random weather, and in I think about 25% of the practice lobbies, it has at some stage rain. And if you look up there, you can see some ominous looking clouds. So it's about bravery. I think it really is about, I mean, for me, I think your confidence in the rain is really what decides when you change your tyres. If you're looking at the sky now, you're looking at the radar and you're thinking it might rain, you're better off staying out for as long as possible. Because if your one pit stop is to put on the intermediate or even the wet weather tyres, whereas everyone around you has got in and put on another set of slicks, it's definitely going to make you in a better position. Of course it is. I'll tell you what, also going to make you in a good position if you can stay out on the slicks in the wet, and there are some drivers capable of doing that. That was Chip Reese, of course, running in second right now. Pete Snow up to third. Mini Dan comes back out in fourth place. 29 seconds off the leader Arco. He's now put on those soft compound tyres, which he'll run to the end of the race. Good evening, Paul. How are you? Indeed, to all the Black Flag drivers. Of course, Jay's running in sixth at the moment. I don't know how the other guys. Any chance, TJ or Paul, you can find out how the other guys are doing, and just chuck it in here so I know. Just because I could find out after the race, but I'm just nosy. Sturdad running in fifth place, is 6.2 seconds behind Mini Dan. He still needs to go in the pits. He hasn't used yet to pits. Arco jumps in on those medium tyres, swapping them out for some softs. Now, I'm sure they've got their radar up and they're having a look to see if there is going to be some rain. And I would have thought if the radar is not showing anything now, they're probably allowed to be a little bit brave and put on slicks. Do we see any of the other... well, we don't know. I thought we would have seen more of the... Oh, we do. Jay's going in. So Sturdad on the soft tyres, he's staying out. Stomp. We haven't seen much of him. He's back in. He's in sixth place now, moving up on the medium compound tyres. He's hanging out there for a little bit longer on those mediums. He clearly feels he's got good pace on those mediums and doesn't want to relinquish track position for the soft compounds. I've got to say, I'm really, really concerned about what's going to happen with the weather, with just how dark it's looking out there at the moment. Really ominous looking clouds. If we do let's get on board, and you can probably see it here actually. It doesn't look too bad that way. Actually, this part of the racetrack looks right. Well, there's a bit of a dark cloud there on the horizon, but no, actually, it doesn't look too bad. Actually, maybe my foreboding was a little bit short-lived. Rick James, early front runner, now back in seventh place. He's really taking the life out of those soft compound tyres. But as I said, easily run to lap 10 before you need to take them out. So you really only need to do 4, maybe 5 laps on the medium tyres. It's not available for me, TJ. It's a source of great annoyance to me that the only chance I get to see a weather radar is if I happen to move to a car on the track that is showing that is at that time looking at the weather radar. So when I flick through, you'll see that's got the track map there. I'll go to him, he's got the radar up. I need someone to actually be on the weather map for it to show up, but only it doesn't necessarily give me the data. I don't get it very often. Very, very few times to actually see the weather data. There's Ridge Raider running in 10th place. Jay comes back out in 9th. In terms of who needs to pit still, so Chip Reese out in the lead of this race on the soft compound tyres. Couple of laps more for him before he's going to think about coming in and changing out those tyres. Pete Snow, he needs to change as well. Mini Dan is on those soft compound tyres now, and I think he'll retake the lead of this race when those two ahead of him pop in for their second set of tyres. There's Arco running in 4th position. He's been into the pits. He's come out again. Oh, as he loses that back end into the bus stop chicane. So easy to do. So that's going to cost him time in the charge after Minidan and allow Sturdad just to close up a little bit. Although Sturdad does need to pit, as does Rick James, who's really getting as much life as he can out of those tyres. But he's under some pressure from Stump. Stump with a much better exit out of the bus stop chicane. They are side by side heading into the source. Can Stump do the old switcheroo and sort of tuck back up the inside? He doesn't do that. He stays in behind. But Rick James with those soft compound tyres just will have a little bit of a better exit. So Avalon's second in the 30-minute race. To be fair, this is the 30-minute race, so I don't know. I thought they had a sprint race. No, I assumed the sprint race was first to set the grid for the thingy race, but I'm clearly mistaken. 28 seconds back is Lucky Alpha. He has been in the pits, so we'll close up that gap a little bit when Stump goes in to change out his medium tyres. Lucky Alpha again. We've seen him lose that back end coming out of the source, and all that causes that, it's not just going in the wrong gear. And sometimes, ideally, you want to change up as quickly as possible. It's all well and good dropping down to first to go in there and get the rotation, but you want to change up as quickly as possible. But also, oh, Lucky Alpha, big slide. That's going to allow Jay just to close up, and that rightfully so. That's a half-second penalty. He used all of the race truck and some extra. Jay putting a little bit early in the slipstream, but into braking. Can he get him under braking? He's got the inside line. Lucky Alpha, though, taking a really creative route through there. I wouldn't be surprised if that penalty increases to 1 second. Looks to have got away with that, though, to be fair. Yeah, definitely got away with that. Ridge Raider running in 10th position, just behind this battle. Jay now ahead. He's up into 8th ahead of Lucky Alpha. And I think Ridge Raider is going to gain 9th when we see Lucky Alpha serve that penalty. Lucky 7. Another Lucky. He's Lucky Alpha's little brother. That may or may not be true. He is 13.5 seconds back from Ridge Raider, who 25 seconds he tunes. And we have lost someone from this race. I'm not going to suggest they rage quit. I may not have done, but they quietly slipped away unnoticed. I can't remember who it was. It would involve me have written down everybody else. Okay, so Mini Dan does regain the lead of this race, as you would expect. There he is. We'll have a quick look at this livery because they're all required to. They can't even modify this livery even a little bit, even though they're racing for a separate team, which is a bit of a shame. But this is sponsored by the eteamhard.com Academy, who are sponsoring this Academy division, obviously, along with simracingconcepts.com, who sponsor Spin Racing. I will, of course, put the links to the race sponsors up there if someone sends me the links and shizzle. But there is Mini Dan leading the way at the moment. Arco in second, 7.9 seconds back. Has he got anything in the tank to kind of close down? In terms of pace, he's about half a second slower at his quickest than Mini Dan at the moment. So I think Mini Dan has kind of got this sewn up at the moment. Stump still has a pit from third position. Is he holding out for rain, or is he just... He's clearly very comfortable on those medium compound tyres and doesn't feel the need to change out. But you've got to say, I mean, if he's doing 232.2s on the medium tyres, surely he could be doing 231.2 on the soft compound, right? Maybe not. Pete Snow, he has been. He's running in 4th place ahead of Chip Reese, who has now been in. Chip Reese running now on the medium tyres to the end of this race, which will be in just 3.5 laps time. 27 minutes into the race. And going up, Rick James from the United States of America. 20 seconds, 21 seconds, 21 seconds back, 21 seconds back. That's where he is right now. He is just second clear of Sturdad, so not completely free of Sturdad at the moment. is Rick James at number 101. Sturdad just behind him, who's putting a little bit of pressure on and hoping to find a way through. Rick James, of course, on the soft compound tires, Sturdad running those mediums. So it's going to be a little bit difficult with those medium compound tires to find a way through. He's on new mediums as well, so he's out that moment, so it's going to be difficult. Jay behind him on the softs can, if the opportunity presents itself, could find a way through. He's tucked in nicely behind here. Can he find a way through here? And it looks like he's got that momentum. He's going to have the inside line coming round this left-hander and does move up into 7th. Just needs to hold it together into the bus stop chicane. Stump into the pits. How quickly can he get out? Of course, they don't need to fuel. They just need to change tyres. And the great move by Sturdad, but really overcooks it into the bus stop chicane and sends himself flying off into the abyss. The abyss. I kind of mixed oblivion and abyss together in a mashup. So Jay does get ahead of Stump. He's up into 6th place, 2.5 seconds. Oh, is Stump coming out? Where is Stump? There is Stump, just up ahead. Now he's on the soft compound tyres as well. So Jay doesn't make it up to 6th. He only makes it 1 place up to 7th. So 1 second. Can he get within 1 second? He's certainly going to have to pace. His tyres are up to temperature. He could potentially make a move here if he gets tucked in that slipstream nice and quickly. He wants to get tucked right in behind the car of Stump. I was going to say the Porsche but everybody's in a Porsche. Number 1 is the Porsche Cap, and 2, they're all exactly the same motor car. Heading up towards the first big braking zone after the source at the top of that Kemmel Straight. And yeah, he's not far off, 6/10. He can hang on in there. Possibly there might be an opportunity for him. Ridge Radar, not to be confused with Fridge Radar, which is what I am, which is why I'm fat and bald. 1.6 seconds back from that battle for 6th place that's going on. 1.2 ahead of Sturdad, who we saw just overcook it into the bus stop chicane and give himself a little shoot forward into the abyss. Lucky Alpha running in 9th place is 6.5 seconds back. He's got a similar gap behind him, which is where Sturdad is right now. Lucky 7, 27 seconds back from Sturdad. He's got a massive gap on the racetrack between himself and E-Tunes, who's 22 seconds behind in 12th position. We've lost 1 driver from this race to disconnection or otherwise. There's Mini. Where is Mini Dan? Oh, there's Mini Dan. He disappeared off the screen for a minute then. Mini Dan in the lead of this race. This is the penultimate lap. Lap 13 of 14 laps. Here he comes into the Kemmel Straight for the penultimate time. 8.5 seconds clear of Arco. Arco, these two are looking good, 1st and 2nd. And to be fair, once they got into 1st and 2nd, they've kind of dominated out there and really taken control for themselves. There is Arco running in 2nd. He is 8 seconds behind them again. 18, nearly 19 seconds clear of Pete Snow, the top American driver at the moment, running in 3rd. Now, he's 6.9 seconds clear of Chip Reese. It should be at this stage, if he can keep the car on the road, and I mean that is key, is the positions they're in now. You've got a gap of 6 seconds with a lap remaining. Your priority isn't going to be trying to chase down 18 seconds to Arco. It's going to be just keeping the car on the road. You know, if you have to lose a couple of tenths here and there, it's fine. You can lose a couple of tenths, just 7 seconds clear. But he's actually opening that gap up. But you just want to make sure you stay on the racetrack, because one mistake now and you can lose 3rd. So concentration is key. Chip Reese on the medium compound tyres. He's 18 seconds clear of Rick James. So again, it's concentration is key. It's unlikely he's going to catch that 7.5 seconds unless a mistake happens. But just make sure you don't mess up your position. A good solid 4th from Chip Reese right now. Rick James running in 5th. It's not all plain sailing for him. It's only 1.2 seconds back to Stump, who very, very fresh racing soft tyres. Could potentially put some moves on Rick James, although Rick James himself is on the softs also. Then we've got 2 seconds back to our very own Jay at 49. running in 7th position. It's a gain on his qualifying position, and that's what you want to do every single race. Just gain a place or two here or there, and there he is right now, running in 7th. 1.1 seconds. Hola, Bandit. How did you get on, my friend? How did you get on? Jay is 1.2 seconds now ahead of Ridge Raider. So just try to hold on to the end of this race. Lucky Alpha in 9th, 10.8 seconds back. Going to be difficult to catch up with Ridge Raider. 7.6 to Sturdad, 16.3 to Lucky 7, and 24 seconds back to E-Tunes. But we've got to keep an eye on this final lap now for Mini Dan. That's it, isn't it? No, it's not. I can't remember their numbers, man. That's not them either. I'm gonna have to consult my list again. It's very difficult to remember all their numbers. 28. There we go. Mini Dan. He's leading the way. He's going to take the win here. And to be fair, once he got into that position, he absolutely dominated. And no reason why he doesn't deserve this win. Very, very good. And as my old friend Bora would say,
Wow, it's very nice.
it is indeed very nice. And he will win this race convincingly from Arco. And just has to nurse this car home now. Last few corners for him. Just going through this middle sector of the racetrack. Arco. Number 96 is Arco. Oh, this is so annoying. There he is, number 96. Arco running in 2nd place. 19 seconds clear of Peach Snow, who I think is going to take 3rd. So no danger of that being a rob from him at any time. Right, so here we go. Mini Dan coming around Blanchimont for the final time, and we'll see him cross the line and take that checkered flag, thoroughly deserved checkered flag as well, into the bus stop chicane for the final time here, lap 14 of 14. There he goes into the bus stop chicane, and he will take the checkered flag and win this race quite convincingly in the end. 7.2 seconds from Arco. He'll come home in 2nd. There's 21 seconds to Pete Snow. I don't think anyone else has finished, have they? No, they haven't just yet. Everyone pretty much on the lead lap, which is always good. There is Pete Snow coming home. Fastest lap of the race goes to Mini Dan. It's a 2:30.5. Bit of a tank slapper coming through the bus stop chicane there for Pete Snow, but keeps it enough on the road to bring home in 3rd position. Here comes Chip Reese in 4th. He ran in that top 3 for quite some time, but lost a bit of pace once he got onto those medium compact tyres. He will come home though in 4th place. 11 seconds clear of Rick James, who after an initial great start that put him up into the lead of this race, dropped down to 4th, but kind of settled into that 5th place, and that's where he stays in 5th. Jay does get ahead of Ridge Raider, etc. into 6th. Ridge Raider in 7th. Stulf is in 8th. Lucky Alpha, he'll come home in 9th position from the United States of America. Here he comes, just coming down now, and we'll see in the distance. That is Sturdad losing that back end out of the stop chicane, coming down to cross the line in 10th. 17 seconds back to Lucky 7. And if he had 7 lucky laps, he might not necessarily be in 11th position. But here he comes to cross the line. 28 seconds clear of E-Tunes. And he's got some way to go. Just can't remember. His fastest lap couldn't really get over a 2:37.9. Couldn't get this Cayman dialed in today. But, you know, there are plenty of races to go. 2 weeks in between each event, so plenty of time to get practice, get some training in, and see what you can do. And over the course of the season, I'm sure we'll see these guys improve. Each is taking a very, very creative route to the line there. And there he does, crosses it in 12th. position. There's your final order. Mini Dan, well-deserved win for him. Brilliant, brilliant racing from Mini Dan. Well done. I'm going to save the results just in case I need them. Shouldn't think I will, but I'm saving them anyway. Why not? Always important to have them just in case. And save to replay. Boom Shankar. There we go. Luck equals preparation plus opportunity. That is not entirely untrue. Brilliant, brilliant racing all round from everybody there. But ultimately, Mini Dan wins out the race there quite convincingly. Arco in second, of course, and I think for me, driver of the day, if I had to pick one, I think he's got to go to Mini Dan, because he, from the moment he took the lead of that race, he really dominated and sort of just took control and managed that pace out front, just to make sure that the gap never really closed down. Found the perfect time to pit. Did lose the lead very briefly, but as soon as everyone in front of him went into the pits, he was back out there in the lead and managed that pace all the way home. Yeah, pretty good race all the way around. Now, I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be another race of 7 laps, but I'm not entirely sure what's going on, because I thought from what I'd read that there was a sprint race first to decide the grid order. So maybe I should have read a little bit more. Who knows? Talk amongst yourselves while I do something very quickly. It was me reading things incorrectly. The sprint race is second. Ordinarily, you'd expect the sprint race to be the first race to decide the grid for the second, but it's the other way around here. The feature race goes first, and then that decides the grid for the sprint race, which is no tyres, no fuel, just balls out racing, and it'll be a 15-minute race. I don't know why there's such a big gap in between the races. That I can't answer for you. That's out of my hands. All I know is we had a massive gap in between qualifying and the first race. Unnecessarily so as well, I think. But, I don't run the lobby. I'm not in charge of that. So I don't know how long it is before starting. There is no information coming through. I would assume very, very soon. But I will, in the meantime, I'm going to go and get a drink and go for a comfort break while I wait. Do apologise for the delay in between races. I didn't realise I have to prepare a half-time show. I will ensure that for the next race I will prepare some half-time entertainment and bring snacks. I can't give you a reason behind it. I'm sure there is a very valid reason that we have a 15-minute to 20-minute break in between qualifying and the race, despite the fact it's only like a half-hour race. But there we go. I'm sure there is a very valid reason for that. But no communication from the host. We don't actually know when the host is planning on starting the next race, which is should be a 7-lap. So 15 minutes, about 7 laps, 6 or 7 lap sprint race around here. No tyre wear, negligible fuel wear of time one. So basically just flat out, balls out, soft tyre racing from beginning to end. I will entertain you with a song, but I am not capable of singing, so not happening. Meanwhile, I'm just going to have a look and see what's happening next week with GTFusion, because the broadcast list has just come out, and I can probably announce that now, actually. So, GTFusion World Team Championships, that starts next week, and we'll be broadcasting the Lounge G of the amateur groups will be on Saturday, and the second Lounge B of the pro groups on the Sunday. Will be broadcast here live on Black Flag Racing TV. How about that then? I don't know who's in Lounge G yet, but when I find out, I will surely let you know. Right, we are about to get back underway. How's about that then? Loving the communication from the host, of course. Obviously, it's difficult for us broadcasters when we don't control when it starts. But this is the sprint race. It is a set reverse top 10 from the feature race, which is not the way around to do it, but it's the way they do it. And here we go. So that is 4. That is 5 lights. That light will go out, and we are away. Sturdad leads the way. Good start there from Stump. It looks like he was going to make his way through the middle. Lucky Alpha up into the lead, but he's got the outside line going into the source. Any bumpy, it looks pretty clean. Anyone going to lose their back end? Yes, Lucky Alpha decides to almost go all the way round and drops right down to 13th place. Tristan Metcalf has made it back into the room for this sprint race. So Stumpf takes the lead of this race going into Radial White, and we've got 14 laps again, which is a bit odd. Why are we doing 14 laps again? Surely it should be 7. Right. Who knows? I don't know. Ridge Raider running in second place, and Jay moving up into first. I don't know what happened to Stump there, but I think they've realised the mistake, and they are red flagging the race to start all over again. For a minute there I wondered what was happening, but it makes absolutely perfect sense, because it's supposed to be 7 laps. Listen, it's easy enough to make those kind of mistakes. I have made those kinds of mistakes myself as a host. It is what it is. Right, there we go. Let's go again, shall we? Room's got to be reset to 7 laps, and then we will get cracking again. It's got obviously the grid's got to be reset. It is a reverse top 10, I believe. Yeah, red flag. Makes sense, because it should be 7 laps rather than the 14. Nathan, I know you were supposed to be host. I don't mean to be overly critical, but it's quite difficult as a broadcaster when you have no idea how big the gap is. No, it's not your fault. When you have no idea how big the gap is between races. I mean, I think 15-20 minutes between half-hour races and qualifying and stuff is probably too long anyway. But without any communication, I mean, I'm sure that if you were host, you would communicate better. But if that could be fed back, Nathan, that'd be awesome, my friend. because it's very difficult for me as a broadcaster. If I know that I need to find some sort of other entertainment to fill in sort of 10 or 15 minute gaps, I will certainly do that. But I do, from the aspect of having people watching, and think from the aspect of certainly with sponsors want people to be engaging and to be watching and to be involved, so the sponsors can get something out there. But the host has now ended the game, so I don't know what is happening now. Is there another lobby coming? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, but in terms of sponsors want to be seen, and they want to have engagement. So people want to be watching, or they want people to be watching. So therefore, really, from a broadcaster's perspective, there needs to be something for people to watch, because nobody wants to listen to me waffling over a blank screen. Let's be fair. Because if I'm allowed to just talk absolute rubbish for 20 minutes, people will get very, very bored very, very quickly, and off they will. Off they will disappear, and never to return. Yeah, but I will ensure next week that I will have entertainment to cover large gaps in between each session. Maybe some track guides or something, or I don't know. I don't know what I'll find something. I will find something to cover. Let's hide stuff. I'm going to show that again because that's boring. Let's have a nice little serene view of Spa Francorchamps. Yes, Phil, it is the amateur round indeed. We've had the feature race, 14 laps, just waiting for the lobby to reload. When you say lost a few drivers, do you mean lost as in permanently, or lost as in they're hiding somewhere? Right, let's go back into the lobby, see if it's. I'm assuming you mean lost as in they've not come back. Well, it looks like they're all coming back. Boogity, 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 let's go racing. I like that, that's quite cool from Sturdad. There we go. Right, we'll get there soon. It'll be 7 laps of balls out, foot to the floor, absolute melting racing. No worries about pit stops, no worries about tyre wear. Obviously, well, I suppose there is always that little niggling feeling of there might be rain. It's a shame, Phil, because you missed our quali, mate, which was last week, Phil. So yeah, I think Jay's in this one, but I don't know what the situation is with getting people in late. I can certainly ask the question for you, Phil, if you would like me to. I know this lobby was shut. As far as I'm aware, there are people on the waiting list to come in, but or certainly on the reserves list. There was a few short here, Phil. So I don't know what the situation is going forward, but I will ask the question and see if we can squeeze another black flag driver into the academy. You'll probably have to put up some sort of qualifying time to do that. Well, I don't know what the answer is. Maybe Nathan can answer that question. Is there a way for a driver to join in after we've started? Because Phil there has decided he wants to come and join us and race with us here. I think you do quite well here, Phil, to be fair. I think Jay's doing all right. Jay's a good midfield runner here. I think you'd have some good battles in there. There's certainly some great tracks along the way. Yeah, some great tracks coming up. I always hate that little WhatsApp message pops up while I'm doing a broadcast to remind me I've got to go to work tomorrow. Is my response to that. I know I have to work tomorrow. That's probably being self-employed. Is my boss is really, really horrible and makes me go to work all the time. That'd been my missus, of course. It wasn't my missus, just messaged me, that would be weird. It was the guy that I'm working with just to remind me what time we're meeting in the morning, because he's driving because of ULEZ, and he is ULEZ compliant and I'm not. Essentially. Right, I think everyone's back in the room that should be here. Pete Snow, Rick James, Ridge Raider, Sturdad, Mini Dan, winner of the feature race, of course. Stumpf Schrober. I'll have to say it a few times before I get it right. But Stumpf, please tell me how to pronounce it properly. Chip Reese, J49, of course. Tristan Metcalf, Lucky 7, Lucky Alpha, E-Tunes, and Arco. Arco came second, of course, in that feature race. So 7 laps of pedal to the metal around Spa, with everyone's going to be on soft compound tyres, of course, and hopefully, touch wood, it doesn't rain. It looked like a few people in that feature race held out a lot longer on the medium tyres than they probably should have done, in the hope that it might rain and they would only need the one stop. It turned out not to be the case. And I think it probably cost some people a better position. I think I'm going to take my word. I insisted that actually might be a good idea to start on the medium tyres in that feature race. But actually, bearing in mind there was the threat of rain, I think the softs was the way to go. And you run the softs until lap 10, which is what essentially how far you I mean, probably lap 11 if you wanted to save them a little bit. And then just do a few laps on the rubbishy medium compound tyres. The other thing I need to tell the world about is, of course, we have just completed this weekend. You may have seen it over on GT Champions YouTube page. That 70 odd drivers have now completed their qualification for the GT Champions World Cup Season 5, which starts very, very soon. Several hours, many hours of lobby work were performed yesterday. At one stage, we were running 2 lobbies with people stacked up 6 deep, running their qualifying sessions for that, with a few more just chucking their laps in today. Me personally, I think anyone that was was watching the stream yesterday and didn't put in their lap shouldn't have got the opportunity to do it today. I think it's a little bit cheeky to have been about and still not chucked your lap in. I think a few of them were waiting to see what times they needed to pull out and maybe practice a lap or two. But, you know, it is what it is. And we now have pretty much all 6 divisions sorted out ready for the World Cup to start. And as it stands, Black Flag have representatives in, I think, every division. Slipstream in Division 1, Macho Monkey Man down to Division 2 with Kaizan. I can't remember where everyone is. I think we've got one in Division 3, a couple in Division 4, 5 and 6. And another driver joining us just now. Right, so we are ready to go. This is the race about to begin. 0 seconds until the final starts. Race will not begin shortly. Race will begin now. Let's get all my data up, shall we? The good thing is we don't have to jump in and out of the lobby anymore. Let's go with Jay and see how we get on. So, it's going to be 5 lights popping up, and then we will be racing here at Spa. So there's your 5 lights. Now we go green, and away we go. And what a phenomenal start from Sturdad. Really got a massive jump over everybody there, up into the lead. Stump into second. Third is Rick James, lucky out for 4th. Jay holds on in 5th. Everyone throws a little bit wide there in the back, but everyone through safely. It's so annoying, the cars being exactly the same. So difficult to pick out different drivers. Go indeed, Nathan. Go. Pete Snow in 6th. Ridge Raider in 7th place. Arco is in 8th, who's 2nd last time out. Chip Reese in 9th. Mini Dan, if he wants to win this one as well, he's got a lot of work to do over these 7 laps. 1.4 seconds back to E-Tunes. Lucky 7 is... Oh, I thought then he was going to go flying off. Pulls out the back of E-Tunes and gets up into 11th place. Tristan Metcalf also making that move up into 12th. But it did look for 1 minute as he pulled out there, he was going to go flying off to that right-hand side. And Arco bringing up the rear. So not a great start from Arco. Sturdad with an absolute phenomenal leapfrog start. Is 1.1 seconds clear at the moment from Stumpf Schrubber. I don't even know what I'm trying when I know I can't say it. Stumpf in second. Rick James, a glorious host from the United States of America, is running in third. Lucky Alpha tucked in behind him. Gonna make a move through Pouillon. He's up the inside. Can he hold on? Abso-freaking-lutely he can. But the next turn's a right-hander. He's going to be on the outside. And it looks like Rick James is going to take that position back. Good, clean, close racing from those two. Rick James back into the top three. Down we go now into this right-hander. Rick James again with the inside line. Just holding on, but Lucky Alpha now trying to get up the inside as they go into Blanchimont. Side by side they go. Ooh, little touch. And we see Rick James going a little bit wide there. Does he lose any more positions? He doesn't, but he does drop a little. Well, he does. He drops right back. Loses out to Ridge Raider and Pete Snow. Drops back to 6th position. This is a great shot of the car coming through. Then we've got Jay at 49. He's back in 7th place. He's got Chip Reese behind him, who's under some pressure from Lucky 7. Can't make the move stick. They're all going at full pelt. So into the bus stop chicane. Quite a few people going very, very wide or very, very deep. Jay losing loads and loads of time there. Back end just flicking out on him, dropping down to 9th position. Tristan Metcalf out the back of the pack. He's already dropping way off. Didn't have a very good bus stop chicane there. Mini Dan with a half-second penalty. As Tristan Metcalf returns to the racetrack. Sturdad with a 2.3 second lead coming out of the source. But he's got a half-second penalty. We know half-second penalty equates to about 1.5 seconds overall loss with the slowdown through Blanchimont. So that will put Stumpf right in the mix with a potential overtake to take 2nd position. Ridge Radar, he is running in 3rd position, and the American drivers dominating this sprint race in 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. As Rick James and Chip Reese exchanging positions and neither giving it up. So we've got Pete Snow, we've got Chip Reese, we've got Rick James all on top of each other in a sort of Porsche Cayenne orgy going on there in the midfield right now, all battling just outside that top 3. And whoever kind of wins out this battle for 4th, the prize for winning that battle into 4th is an opportunity to chase down Ridge Raider in 3rd. And they are starting to pull Ridge Raider in towards them. Sturdad still 2 seconds clear of Stumpf, and that's 2.7 seconds. The front two are just kind of pulling out a little bit. If I'd known, Nathan, I could have got you involved in a Discord, mate. What I'll do next week is I will make sure I've got a Discord chat tucked into it, and I'll get you can jump in our Discord. We'll do it through your Discord. And you can, if you're not racing, you can jump in with me next time out. So I'll make sure there is a spot for. And actually, that's not a bad idea. Anyone that's not racing can jump in and co-commentate with me. Would be pretty darn awesome, especially if when we're short people and all. So Sturdad in the lead of this race. That lead cut down to 0.3 of a second. I said 1.5 seconds is your loss. Almost more than that. And Stumpf can smell blood. He is after that first place. The German driver wants to relegate the driver from the US, Sturdad, back with his teammates. And Charisma Moose jumping into the room for no apparent reason than to see what is going. Yeah, the only problem is I haven't got Discord attached to this particular broadcast. I didn't bother. So we'll get something sorted out for next time. I didn't know I needed it. I didn't think about it, to be fair. Stumpf is running in 2nd, still trying to find a way around Sturdad. He's got a really, really good run now on the back of Sturdad, coming through Radion and Eau Rouge. And Jay has been disconnected. What's happened to old man Jay? That is absolutely devastating. Need to find out what happened there. But he was quite way down the order now. He usually has a pretty stable connection, but he doesn't have a history of rage quitting. I can tell you that for a fact. So we'll have to find out what happened to old man Jay there. He is tucked in at the moment, Stumpf behind Sturdad. Couldn't couldn't get the momentum to get the car ahead and make the move on Sturdad. Sturdad doing a sterling job of keeping that car in the lead. Ridge Raider, though, has closed up on the back of that front three now and really started to get involved and ramp it up. Now, if Stumpf can't get that move done on Sturdad, his concern might not be can he catch first. It'll be can he stop Ridge Raider in third. But the German driver at the moment just holding off. Pete Snow, he's just outside that top three. 2.5 seconds off the back of third place. And Chip Reese really putting the frighteners on the back of Pete Snow right now. Can Chip Reese make a move on him? Yeah, no, it's one of those things. Sometimes people disconnect. It's just an unfortunate. It's an unfortunate byproduct of online racing, I suppose. I mean, having a wide connection always helps sometimes, but you know we don't control these lobbies. That's the big problem. Yeah, Pete Snow. He's got to try and keep Chip Reese at bay at the moment. It's just not working for him. To be fair, I mean, people joining the room when a race is going on doesn't help with lobby stability for anybody. There should be a way that once a race is ongoing, the room can be locked from people jumping in. Particularly, you know, and I find this a source of annoyance, is that, you know, it's clear what, I mean, to be fair, he's written testing on the room, which is probably the wrong thing to part. But if it's clear that it's a sanctioned league race, and you're not signed up for it, well, you've got no business going in the room. And there should be a way to stop idiots who can't read from jumping into a room they have no business being in. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe some sort of password protection or something, I don't know. Right, so Sturdad leading from Stumpf still, and he's holding out. Stumpf now under pressure, not just from Ridge Raider, but from Pete Snow. They are three abreast going up the Kemmel Straight. It is game on for these three drivers. Can Stumpf hold those two at bay? Nice bit of slipstream for Pete Snow and for Ridge Raider going up the hill, and it looks like Pete Snow is having a little look up the inside, a potential overtake. No one brave enough to go up the inside under braking. Stay there. They're both brave enough. Ridge Raider and Pete Snow both chuck it up the inside, and that relegates Stumpf down to fourth out of that top three. And now Chip Reese's are coming. Chip Reese is after some of the Stumpf. A bit further down the order is sixth place. That is a lucky 7. 2.8 seconds back from Chip Reese, and he's got 2.8 seconds back to the winner of the feature race, Mini Dan. He's called Mini Dan because he's very, very, very small, and his name is Dan. 2.7 seconds to Lucky Alpha 79. 7.3 seconds ahead of Rick James, our glorious host, who is 6.5 seconds ahead of E-Tunes, having a slightly better race this time out than he did last time. 29 seconds to Tristan Metcalf from Canada, and 2.4 seconds back to Arco, who was second last time out, and this time can't seem to find that really solid pace. 3 minutes his last, or 3 minutes 7 seconds his last lap, which is not great. We've lost Old Man Jay. I don't know what happened. A bit of a disconnection for Jay, which is so unfortunate. He is out of this race due to disconnection. Very disappointing for points for him. But there is your leader. He weathered the storm when Stumpf got pretty darn close on lap 2. It looked like he might be giving him a bit of a challenge for first place. He's now 1.5 seconds clear of Pete Snow. And now Pete Snow? What the hell was that? Pete Snow is just starting to pull away now from Ridge Raider and Stumpf. He came through, him and Ridge Raider both diving through at the top of the Kemmel Straight at the end of lap, halfway up lap 4. And he's now closing that gap on Sturdad. Sturdad did not have a good exit out of the source. Pete Snow had a great exit because he's opened up the gap on Ridge Raider, and we can see here now he's tucked in behind Sturdad. How quickly can he get under that rear wing of this this Porsche and get possibly under braking up into the lead of this race? Not quite close enough just yet, but he's just put in the personal, or certainly personal fastest sector, maybe the fastest sector of all time. Who knows? It's probably not of all time, let's be brutally honest. Mini Dan, fastest man in race number 1. He's the fastest man in race number 2 with a 2:30.6. But he's not doing it from the lead of the race this time. He's doing it from way back in 7th. But we're watching Pete Snow trying to find a way around Sturdad. Sturdad doing a sterling job out in the lead of this race right now. And since he took the lead, no one has got anywhere near close. Well, I'll say no one has got anywhere near close. Some people have got close, but not quite close enough, baby. And Sturdad, with that awesome start, has just dominated from the very beginning. Ridge Radar, he is running in 3rd place. And the top 3, all from the United States. Good evening, Philip. How are you? How did you get on? Yeah, so Sturdad leads from Pete Snow. Ridge Raider in 3rd. They're starting to pull away now from Stumpf in 4th place. And behind Stumpf is Chip Reese, who was for a while putting the frighteners on the back of the German driver. But now, with a penalty, is not going to make it a US top 4. It's just a US top 3 right now, with a German in the middle. Then we've got Chip Reese and then another American driver in Lucky 7. 3.7 seconds back from Chip Reese. He's got some work to do if he wants to get in that top 5. Now's the time to start putting the work in. Oh, of course you're not. Okay, we'll have a change. That's cool. Cool. 1.2 seconds is the gap back to Mini Dan, the little man called Mini Dan. He's probably going to hate me by the end of this because I've referred to him as, well, basically just called him a dwarf several times. He's probably not a dwarf. He's probably ironic. He's actually like 9'2", and it's like an ironic name. Or his dad's called Dan, and he's the smaller version. 5.4 seconds. Mini Dan putting some frighteners on Lucky 7 at the minute, potentially nicking 6th place as they come up the hill for the penultimate time here in this 7-lap sprint race in these little GR4 Porsches. And he's on the outside. You would have thought he'd try and get the inside line, but he breezes past anyway, and he's up into 6th position. 4.1 seconds to Chip Reese. He's got a lot of work to do to get in that top 3 this time. Lucky 7 down to 7th. And Lucky Alpha, 4.9 seconds back in 8th. 10.1 back to Ricky James, or just Rick James. 13.3 back to E-Tunes. 16.5 to Arco, who was 2nd last time out, not getting the pace this time though. And then 18 seconds back to the Canadian driver, Tristan Metcalf. I wouldn't say there were lobby problems. I would say there are massive gaps in between qualifying and races that I've got nothing to fill with but my own dulcet tones. And Sturdad finally caught. Pete Snow wasn't the one that caught him, no. It was Ridge Raider, and Pete Snow, with a penalty, is not going to catch him. So Ridge Raider taking the lead of this race, and it is on. Pete Snow gets ahead of Stumpf. And Sturdad now down to 4th place. Hasn't held them off. Held them off for so long, but couldn't make it stick. Pete Snow slowing right down though. Sturdad will come through. He's going to be fast. He's got the momentum. Through he comes. He's back into that top 3. But only one lap going to be remaining as Ridge Raider will round the bus stop chicane here. Whoa! I say round the bus stop chicane. He's taking a rather creative route through the bus stop chicane, as did a number of drivers, basically treating it like a car park. So Ridge Raider from Stumpf, Pete Snow, Chip Reese, Sturdad now down in 5th. Mini Dan closing down on Sturdad. He's put in another fast lap at 2:30.2. Lucky 7 in 7th. Lucky Alpha in 8th. 9th is Rick James. 10th is E-Tunes. Arco in 11th, Tristan Metcalf in 12th, and unfortunately Jay suffered a disconnection halfway through this sprint race and is no longer with us, man. But we will find out what happened. Absolutely gutted for him. Gutted. So Ridge Raider 1.2 seconds clear of Stumpf. Can Stumpf close it up? Every corner takes Ridge Raider one step closer to the win here in this sprint race. And it's been a bit action-packed, isn't it? The front two, Mini Dan and Arco, in the feature race really kind of dominated, and it was only third place that changed hands too often. But here it has been there's been a few different race leaders. Mini Dan, that's Chip Reese facing in the wrong direction. I'm sorry, Chip, but you're going to get one of these, mate.
You can't park that there, mate.
Sorry, my friend, but you can't. It doesn't belong there. Ridge Raider leads the way. Stuff within 1 second. He's going to have some slipstream, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a difference. Although this is a lot closer this time out than it was in the feature race. 1.1 seconds separates Ridge Raider and Stumpf. 1 second separates Pete Snow from the top to the top three now. 4.4 seconds to Sturdad, who picks up a penalty and might lose top four to Mini Dan. Mini Dan, the big man, is going to take a spot in the top four when Sturdad serves this penalty. And we've got also... no, I don't think Lucky 7's close to 5. So I thought it was 0.5. I wasn't really looking. So Mini Dan does move up into fourth. So here is a Ridge Raider. Just a couple of corners left. And look how close these three are. Any one of these three messes up into the bus stop chicane, and this top three will change. Really looking forward to this as we come round the last corner. Ridge Raider holds it together. Stumpf spins. Pete Snow will nick second. Right at the death. Will Stumpf hold on? He doesn't. I'm going to cough. Mini Dan nicks third. Stumpf comes home in fourth. Sturdad in fifth place. What a result for Mini Dan. And that's karma for me. Me calling him a midget. I didn't mean it, mate. You're not really a midget. Well, I know you might be, but I didn't mean it. Lucky Alpha in seventh. Chip Reese comes home in eighth. What a finish that was. Rick James home in ninth place. E-Tunes 215. 17 seconds back. He's going to make us wait a little while before he comes home into the bus stop chicane, and he does make it through safely. Doesn't spin as I thought he might when the back end started flicking around like a wiggly woggly eel. And through he comes in 10th. Arco will come home in 11th. 4.8 seconds back. And in about a month, Tristan will arrive. I'm only joking, man. 45 seconds back. Coming into the final sector. He is coming now. He will finish in 12th place. But what a finish. What a brilliant finish. Ridge Raider, Pete Snow. Pete Snow nicking second place. Snatching it from the arms of Stumpf, who was looking at a nice comfortable second. And then it all just went horribly wrong in the bus stop chicane. And Pete Snow nicks it. And then Mini Dan just mops up that third place. Just goes to show a bit of consistency in a couple of fastest laps, and you too can be on the podium here at Spa. So how's about that then? 2 races done and dusted, and Tristan with a finishing flourish to the end of this race. Ridge Raider from Pete Snow from Mini Dan. 2 podiums today for Mini Dan. Standing tall is Mini Dan after 2 podiums, my man. I'm going to save these. I don't know why I'm doing it, because I'm not doing the results, but it's always handy to have them in case someone says, what happened at the end? So unfortunate there for Jay, who had the DNF. We'll save the replay as well. Why not? Because that was a pretty darn good finish. So there we go. We are finished. Absolutely done and dusted. That was round 1 at Spa. We are back in 2 weeks' time for the next race in the series, which is where, Pirate, is it? I hear you cry. Hang on, I will tell you, Pirate says. We are at Barcelona, the circuit of Barcelona de Catalunya, with no chicane. That's on April the 2nd, which is 2 weeks from today. So we will be back with the Team E Hard Academy here for the WSR Porsche Super Duper Cup. And I will bring, next time, I will bring snacks and I will bring entertainment in between the massive gaps between events for your viewing pleasure. But thank you very much for joining me. I have been part of this. Has been Black Flag Racing TV with the first round of the WSR Porsche Super Cup Academy Division. Have a wonderful week and drive fast whenever you can. Thank you very much. Laters.
It's Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. The love is right, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd. But until then, you'll leave your words. But lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me.